Hello children, how are you all? Today we will be discussing. Okay, I'll ask you a question now. Can I place a freshwater fish in seawater? Can you? My answer to this is no. Then you should ask me a question why. Okay? Did you arise that question in your mind? Why can't we place a freshwater fish in seawater? Let us find out. Freshwater do not have any salt in it. Yes or no? Whereas seawater, on the other hand, seawater has high amount of salt in it. Okay? But all the fishes, whether it is a freshwater fish, this is a freshwater fish, whether it is a freshwater fish or a salty water fish, this is salty water fish, whether it is a freshwater fish or a salty water fish, they have salt concentration midway. What do you mean by this midway? Between freshwater and between salt water, there is a concentration in between. That concentration, these fishes are having their body salt concentration. Okay, the salt concentration in the cells of these fishes is midway between freshwater and seawater. That is, this water that is present in the body of fishes is not as salty as the water in sea, not as fresh, or which is not having salt as freshwater. Okay. Then what is the problem? You can place the fish either in freshwater or seawater. You might be thinking like that. No, it's not true. I'll say you the reason. Even though the salt concentration is midway, the physiology, the way in which the fish's body functions is different. I'll say you. See, this side we have fresh water. This fresh water has no salt in it. Okay. Now the freshwater fish which is present in this is having, I said you, midway. That means concentration of fish body is more than the concentration of more salt compared to this freshwater fish. Okay. Now let us remember the topic of osmosis, which we have already dealt. In chapter 4. In chapter 4, I said you about osmosis. Do you remember that? Osmosis. What is osmosis? So let us look what is osmosis. So we have already dealt this topic, osmosis. What happens in this osmosis is, when two solutions whose concentration is different are separated by a semi-permeable membrane. That means one side of this semi-permeable there is low concentration, another side of this semi-permeable membrane there is high concentrated solution. Then what will happen? Water molecules move from low concentration region to high concentration region, and this is called as osmosis. We have already completed this topic. And what is meant by osmosis? Osmosis is movement of water molecules from low concentration region to high concentration region. That means water molecules move towards the high concentration region. This point you need to remember very well. Okay. So now let us go back to the concept of fish. Osmosis as we know, it occurs in the living organisms as well. So this fish body has more salt concentration, and fresh water in which it is living is having low salt concentration. Now what will happen? The water that is present in the fresh water moves into the body of the organism. Okay. So what should be the adaptation of freshwater fish? It can excrete more water. It can excrete more water and absorb salts. Okay, to maintain its body concentration, what happens? Along with water, the salt also gets washed away. But it should maintain its body's concentration. When water is lost along with this, salt is lost along with this water, its body should not get low concentration. It will die if it happens. So, to maintain that salt concentration, the kidneys of these fishes can excrete more water and absorb salt. Okay, even gills also. Absorption of salt is done by kidneys and gills, and excretion is of water is done by kidneys. Okay. Now let us go to seawater fish. What happens in a seawater fish? Seawater fish also has concentration midway between freshwater and seawater. That means this is having low salt concentration compared to the salt concentration of water in which it is living. So what happens? The water moves from the body of fish to outside. The water moves from the body of fish to outside, from low concentration region to high concentration region. So at this time what will happen? Because water is going in the form of osmosis. If it goes in form of urine, it takes away salt with it. But if it is going in the form of osmosis, salt will be excess in its body. Salt concentration will increase in its body. So to avoid that, salt is excreted and water is absorbed. Water is absorbed. Okay, these two actions are done by kidneys of the fishes. Okay, so what is the difference that is seen in freshwater fish and saltwater fish? The kidneys and cells that are present in the body are performing differently. That means the kidneys of freshwater fish excrete more water and take salts. Okay. Now the kidneys of this seawater fishes, what does they do? They take in more water and excrete salts. Okay. So that is the difference between a freshwater fish and seawater fish. And you can easily imagine now what will happen. The kidney which is absorbing more water, if you take it into which is excreting more water, if you take this fish into salt water, already the water that is present in the body of fish will be excreted. Again its kidneys are excreting the remaining water. Will it survive? No, it cannot survive. If you take seawater fish into the freshwater fish, already it is having water absorbing capacity. The kidney is having water absorbing capacity. Again, if water enters into the body of fish, will it not swell and it will collapse? So that is the difference. The difference is not in the salt concentration of fishes, but in the way kidneys function. That's why you can't place a freshwater fish into seawater or seawater fish into freshwater. Even when you buy the smaller aquariums which are available in pots or larger aquariums, when you buy the aquarium and fishes in it, they will say you, if you are buying a freshwater fish, they'll ask you to fill it with tap water. And if you are buying a saltwater fish, they'll ask you to fill the aquarium with bore water. Okay, so that is the difference, children. So this is the salt adaptation for salinity that is seen in fishes. Okay, next we'll go to the aquatic plants. What are the adaptations seen in aquatic plants? Aquatic plants Aquatic plants are those plants which live in the water. Okay, live in water. There are three types of aquatic plants: floating plants, fixed plants, and underwater plants. Underwater plants. Okay. Underwater plants are also called as submerged plants. Submerged plants. Floating plants are called as emergent plants. Okay. Examples of floating plants are lotus. Example for floating plants are water hyacinth, Fistia, Wolfia, etc. Fixed plants: lotus, water lily. Underwater plants are hydrilla, Vallisneria, etc. Okay. So if you take the leaves of the plants which are present inside the water, underwater plants, they do not have stomata. Okay. They do not have any stomata. No stomata is present. And in case of this fixed plants and floating plants, stomata is present on top surface of leaf. Okay. Usually all the terrestrial plants have stomata on the lower surface of the leaf, but these plants have stomata on the upper surface of the plant. Okay. On the top surface of the plant, these are having the stomata. That's why exchange of gases occurs easily. Floating plants and fixed plants have special floating air spaces. Special floating air spaces and hollow stems. Stems are hollow. Okay. In case of underwater plants, they have air spaces for exchange of gases. For exchange of gases. Okay. What else? These leaves of these plants have a waxy coating. Whether it is a whether it is a floating plant, fixed plant or underwater plant, all these three plants have a waxy coat. Waxy coating to avoid getting rotten by continuous water contact. Okay. Apart from all these, hydrilla has some special features. I'll say you some special features that are present in hydrilla plants that help it to survive in aquatic conditions and in lower layers. It can absorb low intensities of light. It can absorb low intensities of light. It can take carbon dioxide efficiently. Okay. It can survive in high salt concentration. It can survive in high salt concentration also. It can survive. Okay. Even though it does not have stomata, the cells have capacity to take carbon dioxide in. Cells absorb CO2 from water, directly from water. Okay. So these are the special features of hydrilla which help the hydrilla plant survive in water, aquatic conditions. Okay children. So that is about the adaptations that are seen in aquatic plants. In our next class, we'll discuss about the adaptations seen in plants and animals for temperature, and we'll see also starvation and hibernation.
Okay children, that is it for today. I hope you have followed it. If you have any doubts, you can contact me through my number, message me through WhatsApp number. Keep yourself safe, healthy and also study well children. Bye.